The conditions are tough, but these soldiers are holding strong. Tonight we begin our in-depth look at soldiers from the Iowa National Guard serving in Iraq. We'll see how the soldiers are doing as they pass the halfway point of their year-long tour. Our correspondent Doug Grindle reports on Iowa soldiers who are on the road more often than not.
Soldiers of the 133rd Infantry run convoys in Iraq, protecting supply trucks from insurgent attacks. They drive down the highways of western Iraq every day. On one run, they stop and check out Iraqi cars parked beside the road, looking for contraband inside.
Cars are important because that's how they transport arms and transport any kind of IED making material, especially something like the BMW or the yellow sedan, in which those are males. Thank you.
These soldiers have been here in Iraq for 7 months. They'll be here a year in all. They say the time passes quickly since they're so busy running convoys, sometimes 4 days at a time.
It just basically becomes routine. We've gotten to the point where it's common anymore. It just doesn't surprise us. Being out for more than 24 hours just happens.
It took many of these soldiers time to adjust once they arrived back in March, but they say life here is now routine.
I didn't know what to expect. It was a bit of a culture shock coming over here. You know, all you know about the Middle East is what you see in movies, what's on the media.
During their year-long tour, soldiers get to go home for a 2-week leave. They say they can tell time is passing back home, even as they spend the passing months here in the desert.
You know, just places seem so different when you go home. That's probably the biggest noticeable thing when you're driving back and just driving around. There's a new Target or something like that somewhere, and you didn't even know it was being built or anything like that. So that's probably the biggest noticeable change.
Soldiers say the passing of time here is time they could be using productively back home, but the sacrifice is generally worth it.
Like all my other friends, they've been in school for a couple years now, and I just feel like I'm behind them. But I know what the benefits I'm going to get from doing this. It'll be well worth it.
The soldiers trained for 6 months before coming here and have been away from home for over a year so far. Soldiers say it's quite a long time to be away from home. They're first mobilized in October of 2005. It's now 2006. They say they don't expect to be home until the spring, perhaps March of 2007. In western Iraq, Doug Grindle for KCRG TV9 News.
Many of these soldiers do not have to be in Iraq, but they say they volunteered anyway because their friends were going too. Tomorrow night, we'll talk to the soldiers about camaraderie and how it makes the Iraq experience easier.